Hey, howdy, hi. Thanks for stopping in. I am Mr. Rod Jones, and today we're going to be going over some Elden Ring Duels. Today I post some wins and losses. I don't just post my wins. I don't really care about posting losses. I always tend to learn something, so it doesn't really matter to me. Also going to provide some commentary, get into some, some ranty behavior. Honestly, the state of PvP invading duels is not great right now. I think duels are in a much better state than invasions right now, but I'll get into that. So let's go ahead and jump right in. I'm gonna go ahead and get started today. All of the duels are gonna take place at Main Academy Gate. Honestly, that's like I know where I can get a few duels there. So that's where we're gonna start off. Let's talk some stats, some weapons. I'm at 125 right now. I've just been sitting there at 125 for most of the game. I think that's the meta, really. Some people say 120, 125, 150. I don't really give a shit. 125, I have not found it difficult to really finish any of the late game bosses at 125. So I've really stuck at that for most of the late game. I'm using Banished Knight's halberd right now with Flaming Strike, Ash of War. I actually have another one with the Glintstone Pebble right on as my secondary weapon, not on the offhand, but just secondary. I kind of like switching back and forth depending on what my opponent is using. I also have one, the same halberd with the the Lightning Ash of War on it. That one I like too. For anybody that's just playing way too cautious, backing up, if they have maybe just a little bit of health left, I can pull that out, maybe catch them if they're not paying attention or they're just kind of getting a little skittish. So that one I do like. This is the I think the first duel of the day here. This guy is wielding the the dual Bloodhound Fang. Not my favorite weapons, honestly. I don't really like the Ash of War on it. I like a lot of the colossal weapons and some of the great swords, but this weapon isn't my favorite. Also, just wanted to mention, please do like and subscribe. It is much appreciated. This channel is just starting out. I really have no idea where it's going from here. So any support you can provide would be greatly appreciated. So please do like and subscribe. So he catches me, and I thought that it ate my input. I'm not 100% sure. It felt like it ate my input there, or I just totally mistimed it, or just didn't let go of the circle. I'm playing on PS5. That's really mostly where I'm playing. For a lot of these duels, I am using the Banished Knight's halberd, but I do change it up. I love the Zweihander. Zweihander. I fucking love that weapon. I love that name. It's such a strong name. Always been a big fan of that weapon. So I do use that a little bit later on. If I'm in a duel and people start off with a great sword or something that's a little bit longer, I'll generally pull something like that out too and kind of match them. This fight kind of drags on a little bit. For some reason, he threw those daggers at me, and it was like, fuck you throwing fan daggers at me for? I got most of my health and you throwing fucking fan daggers at me. It never made any sense to me. If you're fighting someone that's butt ass naked, maybe you're trying to get some quick damage, I guess, but honestly it makes no sense. I get that running poke there, which is a solid one. I'm a big fan of the running poke, and you see there's the Ash of War where he swipes, Bloodhound steps back, Bloodhound steps forward and swipes again. That move is so punishable. Honestly, I think it's such a shit Ash of War. It's not even really usable in content or in actual combat against a duelist, unless you just catch somebody slipping. And then I catch him with the Ash of War here, and then I go to my fan daggers, and that's when you use them. When somebody has little to no health left, that's when you pull out the fan daggers and get them. Pretty good fight. I thought it was a fun fight. I rarely see somebody doing, two double Bloodhound Fang. Usually I'll see just one of those. They are heavier weapons, but that was a fun fight. Again, not my favorite weapon in particular. I don't like the Ash of War. I think it's a useless Ash of War, and to be honest, there are too many great options in this game to just not have a usable Ash of War if you're going into a duel. So I generally tend to play a lot more aggressive. I'm much more of an aggressive player. That gets me in a lot of trouble, obviously. I'm posting some losses here today. That definitely gets me into some trouble, but I don't give a shit because I have some fun. But I like to learn, and I like to definitely get better. So the second duelist that I bring out is somebody that doesn't even have weapons, I believe. I think they're just an all-incant build, from, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, here we go. This guy. Look at him. He just got an emoji for, right? He's got a goddamn emoji. Just a smiling face at my face. Just a smiling face at my face. Unbelievable. Truly unbelievable. This guy's trolling. You know, I thought it was a shit fight on my part. He absolutely destroys me. And I block him actually after the fight, and I'll explain why. It's really not a big deal, and I have absolutely no hard feelings towards this person. People are just having a good time. But I'll touch on that, on why a little bit after the duel. So it starts off pretty basic. I figure out pretty early on he's trying to catch me with that lightning, whether it's the death lightning or that, what is that, the Fortisax lightning. And then he does that move, which I absolutely hate. I'm just not a fan of that. It works. It absolutely works. You can catch people, especially people that jump too much. See, that second roll, I thought I rolled out of that, but I clearly did not. But then I jump into this and just get owned. And then all he needs to do is trigger this, and it's enough for the AoE. Before the attack even gets started, it's enough to just catch me with that little jump. And that was the end of the fight. So like I said, I do block this guy. I have absolutely no hard feelings here. I do not care. He's just trying to have a good time. People build, have crazy builds. This guy was all incant build, which again, don't care. He's having a good time. I'm just trying to get better at the game. And if this guy either summons me or I accidentally summon him because I forgot about this person, I just really don't want to have to deal with it. So just blocked him. Again, I know a lot of people are just having fun. That was a fun build. That dude was just using a bunch of incantations, which is really cool. But for my purpose and what I'm trying to do, just not for me. When I'm just trying to goof off or have a good time, I'll definitely unblock that guy. But for now, no, ain't nobody got time for that. I'm trying to get a little bit better. Trying to fight people a little bit more serious with using a little bit more serious weapons. You're not really gonna see that build very often at all. So I figured, we can go ahead and block this turd for now. No, I'm kidding. Not a turd. What do we got here? So net was all messed up here at the very start of the fight. This person's moonwalking, kind of, which was pretty cool. Shout out Michael Jackson. This was a pretty solid fight, although I was not a fan of the incessant use of the swarm of flies. You'll see here she uses it kind of over and over. It's such an easy attack to evade. You just kind of have to run away from it, or be further, far enough away from it that when it is cast, that the flies they come closer to you. You run in one direction, boom, they pop right there, and you'll see again, boom, they pop off. So as long as you're far enough away, and you're running in the right direction, like they really aren't an issue at all, but they're annoying. And then I hit her with a perfect flaming strike. You can see she was coming in there with that. Boom, boom, smell, plow, and then I schwapped her. Yeah, I was like, that's pretty good, right? The plow and the schwap was exactly what happened. She came in with the poke. I perfectly timed the fire, got her with the stagger, and then had the strike itself perfectly teed up. So that was a good fight. It was a fun fight. I put my sign down. I'm pretty sure Gabrielle summons me again. Another good fight. Again. I wish she wasn't using Swarm of Flies so much. It's fine. And I get people that are using bleed builds. It's not a totally useless incantation. I think if you're like short to mid range from somebody and you use it, and that person is a little bit lower on stamina, they've been taking a few strikes or whatever it is, like that is that's a good time, I would say, or a better time to use it, but it really isn't, to me, isn't the most useful. So right here you'll notice I try to back off, and I need to get better at this just to use, and that's, I catch her with that running attack. To use this bolus, I wasn't far enough away, and she took advantage of it. She punished me hard there, which is what you do. If you see somebody trying to back off and heal, or use a bolus or whatever it is, you have to, if you are close enough, you have to punish it. You absolutely have to punish it, and that's what she did. So that was my bad, gotta be further away. Try to get her with the flaming strike there, it didn't happen. And you'll see here at the end of this duel. So I pull the other halberd out, the one with the glintstone pebble on it. I'm way too far away. And there we go. So I caught her, she caught me, and that's a draw. That's a draw. And I just reach out to her. I was like, draw? But it was a good fight. It was definitely a good fight. The Bloody Hellas is a great weapon. It's a great way to bleed people, and it's got great range. It's got great forward momentum, which kind of leads me into a little bit of commentary I want to talk about. I guess I should say more fundamentals. And really, what are the two most important things when it comes to any sort of Elden Ring or any Souls PvP, whether it's duels, invasions, what have you. Even with PvE, I think it's definitely plays a role too, but even more so with PvP. Those two things are timing and spacing. Those two things are the most important things, and I've heard them a lot from so many different veterans. The one that I listen to or I watch the most, and the one that I've heard from the most is G9. He is always talking about timing and spacing to anybody that's watching his channel, any new players, whatever it is. And he's right. Those two things are the most important things. Timing or spacing being the distance between you and your opponent, and taking advantage of that spacing, and knowing when to attack, when to roll, when to dodge, based on that spacing. And then based on how you are spaced with your opponent, taking advantage of timing. So if an opponent starts an attack, if you are spaced correctly, you're able to really take advantage of that attack. And so that's those two principles, those two fundamentals really are the most important things, and the two things that I've learned to be the most crucial to keep in mind in the middle of fights, whether that is invasions, duels, or whatever else. And it is useful in PvE as well. Obviously, depending on how spaced you are, and depending on your timing with bosses or certain enemies, it's going to be crucial. That's definitely going to be crucial. So those principles are really, really important. So I did want to share that. Again, credit G9 and a lot of other content creators and Souls veterans, especially PvP veterans that have been doing this for a while. So I wanted to shout him out. That last duel was as you can see, I take out Untitled. So Untitled. And the last one was a greatsword on greatsword duel. It did not last very long. I think I just was able to punish him with those pokes pretty well. And it wasn't necessarily the closest fight. But I love greatsword on greatsword fights. They're a lot of fun. I tend to have a great time with those. Who do we have here? Let's see. We have one more. Yeah, so this person, Gabrielle, that we fought, we had a good time. I liked those fights with her. She was good. A lot of people are complaining about the state of where the game is right now in terms of PvP and invasions, and their right to complain. It's shit. I mean, it's utter shit. When it comes to invasions, they're almost unplayable to a certain extent. I think maybe 1 in 4, 1 in 5 or so invasions are like, all right, that was fun. Like, that was a good time. Other times it's like just gank city. You just get ganked left and right. So it's really unfortunate because the game is so much fun. It really is a good time. And when PvP is good, when invasions are good, they're a blast. Like, they really are a lot of fun. But I think the state of duels is much better. They're in a much better state right now than invasions are. So I can sit here and duel for quite a while and have a really good time. But when it comes to invasions, it's just not the case, unfortunately. I'd love to see that, but you just see too many people taking advantage of totally busted ass weapons and Ash Sword and exploits and things like that. I'm not sure what that last Duelist was trying to do with, though. I think there was shield charge fourth or shield charge or shield whatever it was, shield crash. Might have been charge fourth. I'm not sure what he was trying to accomplish there. Break my poise with that and then punish me, but so easy to see coming. Really is easy to see coming and get out of the way of. So not the greatest fight. This next fight was a lot of fun, actually. If I'm remembering correctly. Oh, sorry. You know what? I may have totally misspoken earlier. This fight, sorry, is the great sword fight. So before I thought I had summoned a guy with a great sword. I think it was the Blythe's great sword. But this is that fight. So we'll get to that. The biggest things for me that are huge problems within PvP are Bloodhound Step, the FP consumption, the iframes, the distance it travels, all of that needs to get nerfed. I mean, it's really is just not. It's not right for the game. When I was talking about timing and spacing, it totally destroys timing and spacing. There is no timing and spacing when you're using Bloodhound Step. So it's like, what the fuck is the point? So there was that. I got him with 3 or 4 pokes there. I have the Royal Knight's Resolve on there. RKR obviously can be very, very potent. So I got him with the first one, which took about half of his health. Caught him with a roll, and then caught him with that final roll. But other than Bloodhound Step, things like people are going to complain about Rivers of Blood and Moonveil and certain weapons like that, or certain Ashes of War, and they are totally busted, a lot of them. You're talking about, you hit L2 once or twice, and it's GG, which just doesn't make any sense. They're not balanced. So those are some complaints, but things like helmet swapping, that helmet swap glitch, has absolutely no business in the game. Zero business. The fact that hasn't been patched out is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, From Software has absolutely zero reason. They have zero excuse for that to not be patched out of the game. It makes absolutely no fucking sense. I was just invading the other day, yesterday, and I saw somebody helmet swap glitching. What are you doing? First of all, why are people doing that? Like, are you that much of a lame ass that you have to just have all your health? You have to switch helmets and get all your health back like an asshole? It's just so lame. Those things like that have to go. Bloodhound Step needs to get nerfed incredibly. So I understand everybody's concern. I really do. And I did say I was going to rant for sure. It's unfortunate. I really enjoy this game. This game is so much fun. Oh, I accidentally hit Royal Knight Resolve again there when I did not mean to do that. I was in a really good position to attack him there, and I didn't take advantage. Yeah. I mean, if anybody has any comments, questions, concerns, I hope you don't have any concerns. But if if there's anything you've seen in PvP or elsewhere within the game, and you know, you're interested in discussing it, I'm happy to. So, you know, please get in the comments and let me know your thoughts. A lot of people say, oh, well, you know, Bloodhound stuff's not a big deal and it needs to be in the game. No, it doesn't need to be in the game. I think fundamentally, if you say that, I don't think you understand really the principles or really what this game has been about. And so, in my opinion, it's got to go. You know, if Bloodhound Step doesn't get completely nerfed, or if it doesn't get totally removed from the game, then it needs to get absolutely nerfed. But this was a really great fight, actually. Back to some commentary. I told you again, there's going to be some ranty behavior. I did not disappoint. But back to this duel, it was a really, really great fight. As you can see, I just hit him with that crouch poke. It was a really, really good fight. He got me down to pretty much nothing. I was trying to put a different, a different talisman on to get a little bit of health back. I think it was the Blessed Dew talisman, which I don't think I remembered to take off. I have to get better at switching those talismans in fight. I think it can be difficult, and some people are really, really good at it, but I definitely need to just get better. But that was a good fight, you know. That was a back and forth. It was Zwei und Zwei, which is always fun. And it was a really good fight. This fight here, I think, is another really good one, if I remember correctly. No, actually, it isn't. He whoops my ass. So, you know, when it comes to, wins and losses, like I said, I'm gonna post my losses. I learn a lot from my losses. Like right there, that was bad spacing. Right there, he had better spacing, and you know, you can see where he's going. This guy obviously knows what he's doing in terms of spacing and timing. You know, he got me. I lunged at him, and he got me very easily. I was being very impatient, and he got me twice there. So this fight was an absolute ass kicking. I needed to get a lot better at crouch poking. I need to get better at, you know, the spacing in particular, and you know, I needed to just get better at that, and rolling out of pokes. When people poke, rolling out of it, you either have to roll into the person, roll to the left, roll to the right. Usually rolling to their right has worked better for me, but something I need to get better at, no doubt. And so I like posting those because it just shows, like, if I am getting better, if you see in 6 months, a year from now, whatever it is, we'll look back and be like, wow, holy shit, he actually got better. And that's the hope. I think a lot of this is really for posterity, but also because I don't really give a shit about posting my losses, and it provides more continuity, continuity within the actual video. You can see it's just literally going from one duel to the next, win and loss. Another thing I wanted to talk about was emotes. I fucking love emotes, and I generally bow even if the person, that jumps in doesn't bow. I generally do bow to start the fight. There are there are a handful that I don't. If I'm just like getting excited and I want to jump in, I just jump in. But and excuse me for continuing to look over here. My video feed is over here, so that's where I'm getting all my video. But yeah, I love emotes. I usually hit people with a bow before and after the fight. So as you can see there, I bowed. My opponent did not. That's okay. That's fine. Shit happens. So I quickly go to my fan daggers. I miss them here, but I quickly go to my fan daggers because this jackass is using that bubble tier, which makes absolutely no sense. It's a totally useless physic, by the way. What is it? The Crimson Bubble tier, I think. That really, the one that restores HP at near death, and then the other one, the one that restores or gives you a little bit of HP back after taking damage. Those two to me are the best. There he's trying to do another incantation, so I clearly poke his ass. That other one, he threw the giant fireball in the air. To me, that's the most useless incantation in the game. It's so easy. You walk into it, wait for a sound, and you see it change. It kind of lights up, and then back off. Roll out of it if you even want to, but it's like the absolute easiest move to see and diagnose and get away from. And with that one, I went for an attack. He rolled past me, was behind me, and I knew I could hit him with the R1 and spin around and get him. And that's what I did to close out that fight. But that was a fun fight. Guy was all fireball, the fireball man, Mr. Fireballs. I call him that, Mr. Fireballs. I like that a lot. But yeah, it was a fun fight. The only time I'm using like point down and those emotes is if somebody's being a total dickhead, or if they're using like Rivers of Blood or Moonveil or something dumb and I squash them. Then you're gonna get a point down or a bravo. Otherwise, you're gonna get a bow. You know. Great. I like close fights, and I think the unspoken rules within the community are just awesome. I think most people, you know, unless you're totally new, they learn about them, they follow them. People are pretty respectful. Not everybody, again, bows or does the emote, but that's fine. People don't heal in duels, obviously, which is something I love. I think it's a cool little thing that, you know, it's not in the game. This is just between the players, between the community, and I absolutely love that. You'll notice, you know, in some of these fights, and especially my losses, I can be way too aggressive. So the one that I lost, you know, a couple fights ago with the this Vi fight, and he got me with like 4 or 5 pokes. I was too aggressive. You know, I need to do a better job of picking my shots, and especially when I'm down in the fight, I need to pick my shots. And that's not what I did at the end. I just rushed in, and he knew he had enough health to exchange with me. I couldn't afford to exchange. He could. So here we have the Black Samurai, who I greatly respect. I don't know why in this fight he was trying to use Kukuri at the start. I think he might have been trying to proc bleed, but that makes absolutely no sense to do, in my opinion. He keeps trying to throw those Kukuri mid-fight. They're so slow and so easy to diagnose and get away from that I don't understand him using. Here he tries it again, and I just bonk him on the head for 1100 damage. Like, absolutely bonked. To me, Kukuri are fine, but the fan daggers and regular daggers come out so much faster that at the end of the day, what are you trying to accomplish? I mean, like, I guess he is trying to proc bleed, but with Kukuri, he's going to have to land like 4 or 5. Like, what are you trying to do here? Doesn't make any sense. I'm a big advocate for the fan daggers and for the regular daggers. They're much faster. You can see just, you know, with the Kukuris. Sorry for the sound effects. But with the fan daggers, you're like, shot, 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 shot. So, you know, by the time you throw out 1 Kukuri, I can throw out 3 or 4 fan daggers. It never made any sense to me. So, that's just my philosophy. Take it or leave it. Yeah. Let's see here. How many more duels do we got? I think we have just a few more minutes, maybe 1 or 2 more. I really do appreciate anybody taking the time to watch this video. This is a lot of fun for me. This is the first time I've really done one like this. I've done some other random videos that are posted, but they're not very useful, and they were really just to kind of test the waters. But this is a lot of fun, and if you're interested in seeing something, whether that's, you know, duels or invasions, or you want to duel with me, or you want to invade or co-op or whatever it is, let me know. I'm always happy to play, you know, and whether that's duel or invasions, or, like I said, co-op. I love that stuff. Despite all of the rants and despite all of my negative comments, I love this game. I think that's where a lot of these comments come from, is a place of concern, because they really love the game. Most of these people have been playing these Souls games for years, you know, well over a decade now. And so, you know, it means a lot to them, and they want it to be the best it can possibly be. And so I don't blame people being just generally concerned. And right there, I was stupid. I wasn't two-handing it, and I just wanted to make sure I was two-handing it. So yeah, just a little insight there into why people are concerned with Elden Ring, and why they're concerned. I think it really does come from a place of, hey, I love this game, and I just want to see it be the best game it can be. This fight, you know, I don't know. At the start, he did the chilling mist there, or the freezing mist. I didn't get that. If somebody's really aggressive and they run at you almost immediately, right as the fight starts, and you hit him with that freezing mist, awesome. I think that's a great attack. But if somebody backs off, there's really no reason to use that. You're just wasting FP, and you're kind of showing your hand. You're telling your hand, and there's no reason to do that. But that person was way too aggressive. So, adversely, I'll fight people who are too aggressive, and I had a fight where I had very little health and I was being way too aggressive at the end. That person knew they could exchange and they won. In that case, that was the exact opposite. I had more health than my opponent. He was being way too aggressive. I knew I could take an exchange unless it was like a giant hunt to the throat. I knew I could take that exchange. So he came at me. I knew I was going to take him out. So right there, I was getting excited and I forgot to bow. But I'm usually bowing either way. This guy doesn't drink his physic. I wasn't sure why. Not everybody. Usually people do. I would say 95% of the time people do. It just makes fights last longer. They're more fun. So I've always been a fan. This guy is doing the roar and is missing. I think he's trying to free aim it, but he is missing every single time. The whole fight, I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing? He's just roaring into the nothingness of the world, which I understand. Actually, I understand screaming into the abyss of the world. Sometimes you have to do that. But this fight isn't really close. He's kind of not paying much attention. I thought I won it there, but I didn't get the what is it? Avengers, Infinity War. I'm melting. I'm turning to dust animation. So, and there we go. Fan daggers. You see how quick I threw those fan daggers out? I threw like 3 or 4 fan daggers out in a matter of a second. They come out so much faster. So when your opponent has no health, that's when the fan daggers are used. But that was the last one. I really want to thank everybody for watching. Please do like and subscribe. Comment. Any type of engagement is so appreciated. This channel is just starting out, and I really don't know what it's going to be yet, but your support is so appreciated. So thanks again. Mr. Rod Jones signing out.